You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Look at you getting flirty, Sinetra. Hello and welcome to your Friday Loose Women, kicking off your weekend. It's me, Kay Adams, alongside Katie Piper, Carol McGiffin and Sinetra Sarkar. Coming up, we are talking about table manners. Would you be offended if someone ate with their mouth open? Find out which one of us thinks it's rude and which one of us is not bothered, really. Also on the show, it's something that I have been putting off for years. Maybe you have too. Recently, I finally got my hearing tested, and I'll be revealing the results at 1 o'clock. And from losing her mother to dementia to fighting COVID, we're having a very honest conversation with former Coronation Street star Shubna Galati when she joins us in the studio. So you're in the old gobby seat at the end, Sinetra.
I feel quite privileged. I've moved up the ranks to becoming mad.
You're going to have to out-gob Carol, which is quite something.
It is. It's the mad old woman's chair.
Don't say that.
Well, it used to be.
Well,
Nadia will be thrilled to hear that. You know what?
In which case, would you swap? Anyway, listen, we're starting with some showbiz news, and it's lovely news, actually. Jade Goody's eldest son, Bobby Brazier, is joining EastEnders. There he is. God, he's a fine-looking lad,
What
isn't
a
he?
handsome young man.
Isn't he? He's
gorgeous.
really a credit to both of his parents. It's just
Yeah.
really good news, you know.
It is. It's lovely. I think us as the public, we were really invested in Jade and her family. And, you know, it was such a tragic ending, what happened to her. And I think, you know, anyone that watched that, all she wanted for those children was for them to be safe, to be happy and successful.
Well-educated.
Well-educated. And she worked really hard so that they could have a good education. And I think this is just a lovely, happy ending to see him beaming from ear to ear, doing a role that she would be so proud of him for.
She was a massive, massive fan of EastEnders.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, that's lovely.
So, I mean, God, can you imagine how proud she would be? It'd be amazing. But Jeff's done a brilliant job. As
He really,
boys.
he really has. You take on there is boys, but I mean, my goodness, he has been, you know, such a sort of supportive, invested
He's protected
dad.
privacy
He has
as
been,
well.
they've absolutely been his top priority, and I think he also took a lot of sort of advice on how to help them, you know, having
doing
lost their
grief
mum.
counselling.
At such a young age.
And Bobby looks so like Jade and his dad and Jeff. There's a real testament to both of them. I think, Jade will be proud of her favourite.
And it'll be emotional for him.
I know.
To think, God, here I am, this was my mum's, you know, favourite thing. It's,
and for us EastEnders fans...
All right, you're an Easties fan, of course.
Who's he going to be?
He's going to be
I
Little Mo's son.
Freddie Slater.
Yeah,
Little Mo's son.
Like there aren't enough Slaters in EastEnders. They're all over the place.
I know. Now, do you want to know, well, not how Bobby got the job. He obviously got the job because he's very good at it. But he is really into, and I know you two are absolutely across this, but Carol and I are a bit behind the curve. A bit. Yeah, like 50 years. Manifesting, right? Okay. So Bobby says, once we realise our own power, we can do whatever we want. We tune into ourselves. We be whoever we want to be. Are you concentrating, Carol? Do whatever we want to do. And I have to say, my daughters talk about this, manifesting, but it's just kind of foreign to me.
No,
what is it? What are we talking about?
All of us, whether you believe in it or not, we're very powerful beings, and mindset is everything in life. And, you know, you feel energy when you walk into a room, if it's bad energy, good energy, and you manifest your whole life, whether you realise that and actively participate in that.
Yeah.
You know, the thoughts you put out there, you become them. The way you want to be treated, you already project that before you even speak.
And even as a young child, you know, you're taught to make wishes, right? And we think of wishes as being like dreamy, wizardry kind of things, but actually your wishes are your wants and what you long for. And again, maybe it's because I'm an actor and I know the fear of stage fright and how to overcome it is by sometimes manifesting how it's going to be, not to be worried. And I sort of do a little dress rehearsal of what I want this situation to feel like, so that when I do get to it, I feel a bit more prepared, and I've manifested how I think it's going to end up. So there's lots of.
But you're not guaranteed that outcome, are you? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of talented kids who want to be in Eastenders, and they might dream about it every night, and they might go through all of those kind of steps. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, like you make a wish or you got a dream and you manifest it. I mean, aren't you setting yourself up for horrible disappointment if it doesn't happen? I mean, why would you do that? You're creating a problem that doesn't exist.
But rejection isn't final. Rejection is redirection. So you might be manifesting a career in performing. You might not get that role, but you continue to manifest, and you.
But if you want that, Katie. And that's, you know, some kids grow up knowing that they want to be on the stage, or they want to be an actor, or they want to be a dancer. They know
or a
that.
Doctor,
they just know
or
that. And so they do it.
But what you're saying,
and it doesn't make any difference if you sit there going, I'm manifesting this or not. You either do it or you don't. And you're not, you know, what difference does it make?
Because
who started all of this?
I think, well, no, you've got you've got to admit that there are auras. You know, when you walk into a room and you feel an energy.
My aura. I need to protect my energy on this show. Get back.
Yeah, the naysayers, stay away.
Can I just say to Sinatra, saying to Carol McGiffin, you've got to admit there are auras. You're on a losing wicket before you even get anywhere.
It is very Emperor's clothing, really, to make it layman's terms.
Well, no one's going to sit there and say, this is a load of old.
But if you don't talk the talk, you won't walk the walk. And you know,
you might do.
It might work.
But listen, I'm not as cynical as Carol, though I have to say I also kind of struggle with it a little bit. Let me give you an example, right? It was about 10 or 12 years ago. For some bizarre reason, I agreed to do Total Wipeout. Do you remember Total Wipeout?
No.
Like the big red balls and all of that kind of thing.
The most dangerous game show.
I know. It's absolutely crazy. What was I thinking? Well, it was in Buenos Aires. I've always wanted to go to Buenos Aires, so that was really good. Anyway, so I thought, right, here we go. And I thought, I'm going to visualise, because I must have seen one of these programs. I'm going to visualise myself doing really well. And so I'd go to sleep every night for however long beforehand, and I would be striding. You know, I'd be dodging people like this. I would come up to the big red balls. I'd leap onto the first one. I'd get the second one. And then I'd get the rope, and I'd swing round, and I'd do all of that. Every night I was manifesting. Manifesting.
No, you
right?
were denying reality.
Okay. No, it is.
You were hoping for a good outcome.
I don't think I'm doing anything different from what you've described. And then, of course, we get there. I totter down the slide. I fall on my backside. I get like that with a punch. I get to the big red ball. And boom! I swam in the wrong direction. Look at me! The voiceover was actually, hey, you're swimming in the wrong direction.
I understand why you would have done that, because otherwise you probably would never have got on that plane. Because deep down you knew how dangerous it was, and unless you imagine that, you know, you're going to be the star of the show and you're going to win it and you're going to be so.
I did think I would do really well.
You
wouldn't have done it.
You have to be specific and precise with the universe, and you weren't.
Yeah, but what should I have done?
No, I mean, this is different. That's like a physical action. You're hoping you'll win. But did you manifest it? Did you go out there and only think of yourself as a winner? Did you train? Did you watch old tapes of other people and manifest the whole scenario?
There's like a vision board behind it. We have to. You're talking about a specific one-off incident, which is fine, but usually manifestation is about a bigger journey.
Yeah,
it's about
and
if you'd have, if you'd have manifested, I want to go and have a great time in Buenos Aires. I don't mind what happens, because you've got to be, you know. I bet you did.
I did have a good time.
You did have a good time.
I did have a good time.
Actually, all that matters.
Hang on, if you've got to be specific with the universe,
you're having trouble saying that.
If I manifest and say, right, I want to win the lottery, and I want to win £10,282,899.32.
It's not that kind of specific. No, it's this sort of specific. It's I'm manifesting a boyfriend. No. That's not specific.
So I'm
manifesting an equally loving relationship. That's actually what I want. I don't want just a boyfriend.
I could be your life coach.
But then
that's what I could do.
But then you're contradicting yourself, because you're not being specific. Because being specific is, I want a boyfriend. I want a lovely relationship.
No, an equal, loving, mutual relationship.
Did you
is
manifest
very, very
your job?
Specific.
On the Brooke side.
I think I did. I may have manifested it because I always wanted
you don't know.
talking. I wanted a job talking. And look at where I've ended up.
Yeah,
That's not
Exactly.
very
I know it's-
specific. I want a
Did
job
you manifest
talking.
this job?
I think I did without realising
You manifested
it.
this conversation, the meeting this morning.
Is it any different just from
She did.
like dreaming?
Yeah, well, it's
Having
It's-
dreams
it's
and then
having
get
aspir-
disappointed when
No,
they
but
don't come true.
it's
I
having
mean,
an aspiration and putting some oomph into it, actioning it, deciding who are you going to be in this life because it's in your hands.
Yeah.
You
and I
know?
don't want to be
This
anything.
is
I
a
want to be
true
me.
Go on,
story.
Sinatra,
This
go
is
on.
a true story. Carol, believe this. It's a true story. I was teaching my son about manifestation, about visualising and what he wanted. And what he wanted was something I would never want. He wants a dog. I can't have a dog in the house and I'm allergic. So I said, oh, good luck with that. I want a dog. He made a board. He thought about it. We went to the local school fair. He won a raffle. And what did he win? A toy dog on the day.
Yes,
And
he
it was so funny because
manifested it.
he went,
Well, it's
I've
not a
been
dog
thinking
then,
about
is it?
No, but
It's a
that he
stuffed
wasn't
toy.
specific. He didn't say a living dog. He should have been
God.
specific. But the point is, it kind of proved a point to my
Yeah.
little 8-year-old son at the time. I thought,
Believe in your hopes.
he
and
knows
dreams.
it works now.
Well done, girls. I think you've really convinced Carol.
She's
not gonna be
manifesting
giving
us
it a
leaving the
go.
panel right now. We will be fired.
All right. Well, still to come. Find out which one of us would never have gone on a second date with a partner if they'd known the truth about their table manners. We'll see you for that in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Carol and Sinatra are still arguing. Will someone please manifest me some peace and quiet?
Stop the noise.
Still to come. It's something I've been putting off for years. But last week I finally put my hearing to the test. We'll be discussing why. That's a lovely looking eardrum, don't you be cheeky? And we'll find out the results a little bit later on as well. Now, when it comes to table manners, apparently everything that we have been taught is a lie. Well, sort of. According to sensory experts, we should all be eating with our mouths open because it enhances the overall taste. We should be using our hands. We should be kind of getting down and dirty with our food, Carol.
But if you eat with your mouth open, it just enhances everyone else's taste because you end up spitting it all out.
What?
And it goes in
Vile.
everybody else's face.
Yeah.
Spitting into whose
Oh
mouth?
my God, this is just gross on every level, isn't it?
I agree, Carol. It's revolting. I don't want to see your beige, mashed-up food circulating around your mouth.
You don't have to look at someone's open mouth while they're eating. There's a choice of a lot of other things to look at. You can look at their eyes. You can
You
look
can,
it is
you can eat
distracting.
alone, I think. You should
There
eat
is-
alone.
I don't see
There's
the
no
problem
need
here.
to eat with your mouth open.
Why?
There is no need. You can just keep your mouth closed and eat. It tastes.
Do you not have a problem with it?
I don't
Come on,
understand.
it's not very nice.
No, I mean, I really don't understand what the problem is. If somebody chooses to eat, if you want to chew slowly and you want to chew with your mouth open, I think that's your choice. It's how you want to eat.
That's like
It's
a
nothing to
dog
do
eating
with
a
me.
toffee.
No, because
Oh, don't
it's-
stop.
I mean, that's exactly what they do, isn't it?
self-respect, you know. Self-respect, dignity,
Spitting
etiquette,
everywhere.
table
It's
manner. Like
disgusting.
going to a lovely restaurant and thinking the person opposite you cares enough about you to shut their mouth and eat their cod. You know what's that?
Eat your cod.
I'm sorry. My husband has a huge problem. He's on your camp. I am completely on my own here. I think there's absolutely no issue. I'm not looking at your cod while you're eating it in your mouth because I'm busy eating my food. And I don't think anyone's spitting food out while they're eating unless they're
But they
talking.
do.
See,
Talking and eating
Ian and
is
I are
different.
opposite in that I am very big on table manners.
Yeah, so am
but
I.
he just doesn't care. I mean, I don't know about eating with his mouth open, but I mean, the right glasses, the right cutlery, the right way to have everything organised. He just thinks that's a load of rubbish. Whereas my dad was very particular, and so I'm very particular. But like him and the kids are useless. They sit there with a fork.
Yeah,
See,
but
just go like that.
and that's really important actually, because when I go to a restaurant and I see particularly young people, I have to say, who don't know how to use a knife and fork. And look, this is what they do. They sit there and it makes my blood boil. It's so annoying. They sit there with a knife and fork like that and going,
She is right. It's
and then
yeah.
they wonder why they can't cut
eating
anything,
like that?
and why they have
a
to.
lot of younger generations.
Really?
They are.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you a thing that's a big issue in our marriage that maybe you can help me solve? Because I believe I'm in the right, but Richie
I
disagrees.
thought you were the life coach.
Well,
We'll
I might need a
help you.
divorce coach after I disclose this live on telly. But he loves a toothpick. right?
Right.
And he likes, in a restaurant, when he finishes eating, he likes to get his toothpick out and pick his teeth.
Oh, my God.
Right, exactly. So when I first started dating him, he didn't do this. And if he did, there wouldn't have been a second date.
Really?
Yeah. But as the relationship's progressed into marriage, he's picking away at the table.
At the table when you're still eating?
Well, yeah, if he finishes first.
So he's clearing out the detritus from his own mouth.
But do you know
the table?
Do you know his defence? He says the restaurant provide them. They're there on the table. It's supposed to happen. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with
Why
someone.
didn't he do it
If I sat
when
here
I first met him?
with a toothpick in my mouth and was talking to you, would you have a problem with me?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think I'd rather that than spinach hanging out my teeth while I'm talking
But then
to
you might say, oh, look,
and-
you've got a little something in your tooth and, okay, you take it out. But, I mean, just sitting there digging away at your molars.
Yeah,
I
No.
think you're all being really
No, and I don't think you
snooty
should start
about this.
eating until everybody's ready to start eating either.
Yeah, that's just...
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay,
I
lots
agree
more
with
talk
that.
to come. It's competition time now, though. And how do you fancy getting your hands on £90,000 this summer? You can buy a lot of toothpicks with that. Here's Kate Lawler with all the details.
Hello everyone, I am here in glorious sunny Southwold on a super hot day. So let me tell you about our sizzling hot prize that you could be in with a chance of winning £90,000 in tax-free cash. Imagine the summer holidays you could have with the family if you were 90k richer. Every single penny goes into your bank account from ITV's to yours because it's tax-free. It takes just seconds to enter and there is a guaranteed winner for every prize. That person could be you. We want you to win. Here's how you can enter. For your chance to win, text CASH to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY29 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday 19th of August at 3 p.m. Good luck. So what are you waiting for? Get entering now. Good luck.
I'm really worried about this situation between Sinatra and Carol, to be honest.
She's still picking her teeth.
Yeah, I know.
I've just got a toothpick in my mouth, which is quite easy to keep in my mouth.
Of course, friction on the panel now.
No, but summer in full swing. Many people will be making the most of the sunshine with the shorts, the summer dresses, etc. For others, the idea of getting their skin out can be daunting. And I say that, Katie, because I saw the post that you put up on social media sort of addressing that.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because when the sun's out, everyone's like straight away bikini snaps, can't wait to get the shorts on. We love getting our arms and legs out. And I get that. And it's exciting because the country's so cold the rest of the year round. And I'm one of those people that I'm happy to flash the flesh. I feel confident. But I wasn't always that person. You know, when I was first burnt and all my skin grafts were new, you know, there was a time where I couldn't medically flash the flesh because it was harmful.
Yeah.
And then a few years after that, I felt embarrassed and not proud of how I looked. So I suppose the purpose of the post was to say to be mindful that when you see somebody in hot weather wearing a roll neck or a coat, don't call them out and question or make fun of them and say, oh, take that jumper off, you idiot, because often they might be hiding things like self-harm scars that they're ashamed of, that they don't want to discuss, scars from an accident. Or
How did it change for you, though? I mean, what was the turning point where you suddenly realised this, I'm just going to get it all out and I don't care?
Just sweating like a pig every summer and I couldn't bear it any longer. Yeah, I just think you just get acceptance of who you are. And I think with age, for people, they get the luxury of that happening slowly and they start to accept themselves. But when it's been an accident or an attack, it's very sudden. So to practice that acceptance straight away isn't possible for everybody.
That's a really good point that it happens. So because obviously as you do get older, it's up to everyone's choice. You might not wear such short shorts or whatever. If you do, that's absolutely fine too. But it is a process. But if it happens overnight, it's so dramatic,
It's
isn't
quite
it?
jarring, yeah.
And I mean, do people comment? I mean, you've really made me think, because I might be one of the idiots that goes up and says, my God, are you not sweating in that thing?
Yeah.
Because it's just like an icebreaker, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
But I've never thought that I could potentially cause offence.
And that's why I posted it, because I think it comes from a good place, but actually you need to kind of really think about, is there a reason why somebody's like that? It might not be a disability or disfigurement. It might be some kind of body confidence issue about their shape, their size, skin tone.
I do think about that in terms of just commenting on people's appearances. Like one of my daughters is quite tall. which is great. She looks fantastic with it and she's happy with it now. But when she was younger, like a lot of people didn't like it, and people would just say, "You're tall."
Yeah, I don't like
and
that.
she would get to the point and say, "I know I'm tall."
Yeah, like she doesn't know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
And we
unsolicited.
do that, don't we?
Yeah. I don't
Maybe
know
we
why.
shouldn't.
Why do people think that they have the right to comment on what other people look like? I mean, even if it's compliments, I'm not comfortable with compliments, not getting them, and I'd never give them. I don't know if you've ever noticed, girls, but I never tell you look nice. Well, no, because I don't. I just feel like it's an imposition to comment on somebody's appearance in any respect.
Yeah,
and
I think you're totally right.
And I do think that a lot of people do it to make themselves feel better or nice. Like if they say to you, they might think you look terrible, and they go, "Oh, you look
and
really
it's too
nice."
gushy, and it's insincere.
And I just don't do it. I wouldn't comment on
And
people's
you're right,
weight
because
or
I've never
anything.
noticed that you've never given a compliment until you've just said
I
now.
don't.
Because it's not something you put in people. You know, that doesn't need to be part of somebody's personality, giving compliments.
But then isn't it nice to give compliments? Don't you like receiving compliments?
Of course we
Oh, if someone's done something, and they've done it
but
really
you're
well, I'll
deservingly.
compliment them, but not
that's sincere
not
and
on
authentic.
appearance.
But not wrapping up somebody's worth in how they look.
No.
Like you are, that's all you are. And, what if you don't think you're
But I
attractive?
think the problem is that people who feel open enough to start sharing what they think about your appearance, that's the problem. Even if it's good or bad,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need somebody to come up to me and let me know what they think of my appearance.
Yeah,
It's something that you
agree.
notice, I think, is okay, because if someone's like suddenly got totally different colour hair, you might go, "Oh my God, your hair is blue," or whatever. But that's obvious. But to say to someone, "Oh, what have you done to your hair? Your hair looks strange. Well, you had something done to your,"
But I mean,
just
if I
think
came
it's
up to you
weird.
and said, "God, you're looking terrific today, Sinatra. That purple really suits you," you wouldn't like that.
I would like it, but what's happening there is it makes me feel like I then either have to say something really nice back to you and say, "Oh, thank you, you look great as well," because it's a currency. Whereas
it's an
if
exchange.
I asked you, "Do you think this looks okay, Kay?" and you said, "I think you look amazing," now I go, "Oh, now that,"
because you
is
invited
true.
it.
I've asked for that compliment.
But that's what social media is largely, isn't it? It's a lot of people fishing for compliments, and that's what they get on social media.
But
And
don't
actually, I
stop
think it
telling
creates
people they
a
look
false
nice,
sense
Kay.
of-
They've asked
It's a
for that,
lovely
haven't they?
trait.
They've put it out.
Yeah,
there.
I know. Why do
I'm
they need it?
confused now. After the break, it's another thing I've been worrying about, ignoring it for years. So find out what happened when I finally faced the music. I got my hearing checked, and the moment that made me realise that I did need to go. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to your last Loose Women of the Week. Alongside me, Kay Adams, it's Katie Piper, Carol McGiffin and Sinatra Sarkar. Coming up, we're talking books, best friends and co-parenting with her mum, when former Corrie favourite Shobna Gulati joins us for a chat. Right now, I've been struggling with my hearing for a while, but like many people and perhaps many of you watching, I have been ignoring it. Well, not any longer. You don't get away with that on Loose Women. Last week, they sent me to get my hearing tested. Here's what happened. So I'm here to have a hearing test. I have been putting this off for years. But I've just spent 2 weeks holiday with my kids when they've taken the mickey out of me every single day. So I can't put this off any longer.
Hi, my name's Faraz and I'm the audiologist that you'll be seeing today.
Thank you. I'm very nervous.
You don't need to be. So tell me a bit more about your hearing difficulties.
If I'm really honest and I think back, probably for around 5-ish years, maybe more, I have been aware that I'm struggling. But you make excuses the whole time. But as time has gone on, then I've realised I'm missing more and more, and I'm now a standing joke with my children, who just won't repeat things anymore. They say, "Oh God," they get so impatient with me. Which, although you laugh that off, it is now beginning to get to me, because I think I am really missing things, and I don't want to be a standing joke.
What would you say has been the most noticeable situation?
Well, there was a situation quite recently. I was hosting a conference and there was about 200 people there, and it was taking questions from the floor, and I was on a stage, And so there was a guy at the back who had a question. So he stood up and spoke, and all I heard was blah, 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 blah. And so I looked at everyone else on the stage, and I expected that they would also think, you know, could you speak up, please? But they all understood him perfectly. And I thought, oh dear, you know, this really is a problem. You know, I mean, I can't do my work if I can't hear, you know. So that was scary, actually. Next, Faraz took me through a series of tests. He started by looking in my ears before taking pictures of my ear canals. I then moved into a booth where he did some tests to look at the condition of my inner ears. He finished by seeing how I hear speech through background noise.
Events near the edge brought in fresh air.
Events near the edge brought in fresh air. It was then time for the verdict.
Looking at the results that we've just got, what you see in front of you is the audiogram.
You're right, okay.
The colour blue represents the hearing of your left ear. The colour red represents the hearing of your right ear.
There's quite a difference, isn't there?
There really is. You're quite right in saying that your left ear is better in hearing than your right ear. So what we see in the left ear is what would typically happen to someone as part of your hearing deteriorating over a period of time. In contrast to that, in your right ear, you have an element of that which is very similar to the left ear. But when we look at the functionality of your middle ear, in your right ear, I can see that there's something stopping that sound from going all the way into your inner ear.
Faraz suggested I see an ear, nose and throat specialist for further testing, but that wasn't all.
So based on my results today and all the findings that we've got, I'm now going to clinically recommend for you to use hearing aids in both of your ears.
Both ears?
Yeah. Okay. Now, that's something that obviously I don't think you were probably prepared for because you were expecting a hearing aid in your right ear. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of my left ear, that's for sure, yeah.
The way hearing aids and the way our hearing works, if you were to just wear a hearing aid in one of your ears, all it would do would improve your right ear. So, for example, your right ear, it would improve your right ear and it would give you good hearing. It can't give you normal hearing, but it'd give you good hearing. But what that would then create is an imbalance with your left ear.
We finish with Faraz giving me an experience of wearing hearing aids.
So we're now going to turn the hearing aid on in your left ear. How does the sound come across at the moment?
Fine.
Brilliant. And your own voice?
Hello, hello. This is me, talking to me.
I'm now going to turn the hearing aid on in your right ear. So I've just turned the right hearing aid on.
Ooh. Talk to me.
And how does that sound? How's my voice coming across?
Oh, is this how normal people hear?
This is, well, equally out of both ears, but again, just reminding you, we've not spent that additional time with you to try and fine-tune the hearing aids so that they're a bit more balanced than they currently are. But yes.
Wow. God, that's so interesting. I went in there thinking that needing a hearing aid would be some kind of failure. But, talking to Faraz, it completely changed my mind because actually it's not about life closing down. It's about life totally opening up and, being able to hear and be part of a social situation rather than sitting there embarrassed that you might be having a hearing aid. If you're struggling with your hearing, honestly, go get a consultation. There are so many options. I actually am quite excited about it now.
Only you could be excited
I know.
about getting hearing aids.
I know, but it was so interesting.
It must have been a bit of a shock, though, was it?
Yeah.
You did look shocked there.
I was, because as Faraz said, I had kind of geared myself up for one, because I know that this year is really bad, but I don't know why I found it so shocking when he said two, because I
really felt for you. Going to a medical appointment and hearing unexpected news is really tough. I really felt for you.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I don't want anyone to think that.
You also would never usually get a chance to scientifically look at your hearing on this level. So I feel like they're really quite not fun in the, I really want to have a hearing test, but actually the fact that you've got an instant answer as well. You didn't have to wait 6 weeks to find out.
Yeah, but we're
It's
so
quite
weird
cool.
about hearing, aren't we? In that, you know, so many people experience their sight sort of deteriorating a bit as they get older. Once you get to 40 and you've got specs and, oh, look at my new specs with the great da-da-da-da. Whereas with hearing loss, for a lot of people, it's the same thing. I mean, there can be a particular reason, or it can just be as you get older, your ears aren't as effective.
Was it a really big difference with both of them?
Oh, it was. I mean, when he switched it on, it was like, oh, there is a real discernible difference. And actually, he was interesting because...
But in a good way.
Oh, in a good way,
like
yeah,
proper
absolutely.
clarity rather than...
Absolutely. But like my mum and dad both needed hearing aids towards the end of their lives, and they would never wear them. A really classic story, isn't it? Oh, that thing is whistling. And I asked Faraz about that, and he said, well, it's because people have often left it so long, they can't remember what good hearing actually is. And so when it's kind of switched on and you've spent 15 years just slightly removed from the conversation, then it's kind of difficult to deal with. So, you know, take action at an earlier stage to maintain a good level.
So have you got them on today then?
No, I don't. I mean, it's a process you have to get done, and I am going to go and see an ENT person. But
because do you think they might be able to repair whatever damage has been done in that?
Well, it's worth exploring. But I mean, the thing is, I can't just leave it now because I've come this far.
Yeah,
definitely.
And why would you not want to hear
exactly. The clues in the name, hearing aid.
Well, solutions. He calls it hearing solution. That's what they call it.
It's still a hearing aid.
So are you feeling all right
aiding
about it
you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it is a mindset thing. Actually, the young girl Tasha on Love Island, you know, who I think had a congenital hearing issue. You know, she mentioned that very early doors, she wears the appropriate aid for her. Nobody thinks about it, and that's it. It's done, gone.
Yeah.
And I say big up to her for doing that, because there is a sort of thing around hearing, and we can feel vulnerable, can't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think wrongly for women, because it's such an ageist world we live in, it's sort of attached to like, well, you're deteriorating, you're aging, so perhaps women don't want to be seen to wear a hearing aid. A funny story, I mean, it was probably not funny at the time, but I can laugh now. When I met Richie, I didn't tell him that because I'm completely blind in my left eye. And I just didn't tell him for lots of different reasons. You know, we were only just dating. And he took me to the IMAX cinema in London, which is a big 3D cinema. And, you know, 3D only works with two eyes.
Right.
It was like this wildlife thing with sharks and stuff. And I just pretended to watch it with the glasses on. And Richie's jumping out of his seat. So I'm like looking out the corner of a good eye and pretending to jump too. And then I had to carry the lie on because we ended up, you know, obviously getting married. He took me to Euro Disney on the Ratatouille ride that was all like 3D. He took me to another 3D film that came out in the local cinema. And after about 2 to 3 years, I was like, oh, yeah, you know, 3 years. Keep it going. I was like, you know, I'm actually completely blind and I've never been able to see any. And he's like, but what about that date we had at the iMac? I was like, yeah, it was all a lie. He's like, you were jumping out your seat. I was like, I know. It wasn't true.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
For 3 years. Are you kidding? For 3 years?
Yeah, you must have felt so bad.
Well,
but I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
If you need any more information on hearing loss, there is more information on our website. After the break, former Coronation Street star Shobna Gulati reveals how she got through one of the toughest years of her life when she joins us in the studio. So we'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. In just a moment, we are catching up with former Coronation Street star Shobna Gulati. But it is competition time first. We have a sizzling prize up for grabs. How do you fancy winning £90,000? Here's Kate Lawler with all the details.
This might just be my new favourite seaside location. I love it here. It's sunny Southwold. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. And we've got a nice, cool sea breeze. It doesn't get much better than this. Or does it? I can tell you it does, because we have a fantastic prize that you could be winning. £90,000 in tax-free cash. Imagine getting that money in your bank account in time for the summer. Just think of all the places you could visit. Barbados, Mauritius, Southwold. It's up to you. That's the beauty of winning 90 grand. You can do whatever you want with the money, but you've got to be in it to win it. If you want to enter, here are the details. For your chance to win, text cash to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY29 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday 19th of August at 3 p.m. Good luck. £90,000 in tax-free cash. What are you waiting for? It takes just seconds to enter and could be the best £2 you ever spent. Good luck. Oh no. Oh well.
Now, our next guest shot to fame as Anita in Victoria Wood's smash hit sitcom Dinner Ladies, before joining the Cobbles playing fan favourite Sunita Alahan in Coronation Street. So please welcome the brilliant Shobna Gulati. Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Shobna.
Hello. Welcome back. Bushman's holiday.
I know. It is so difficult not to say you look fantastic because you look fantastic, but I've been told I'm not allowed to say that anymore.
You are allowed to say. A good compliment's all right.
I'm all right. Yeah, good.
I just don't like the ones where people say you look tired. I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, do you give compliments then?
Yes.
Rather, you do. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you've got to play it safe sometimes, though, haven't you? In case you compliment on something that offends somebody. Or...
True.
Yeah.
But I can say I really love that suit. I don't have to say you look nice in it, do I?
Oh, God.
You can, though. If you want to, you can also
She hasn't changed.
double check with the person. That's fine. You can
But
say.
you do. You know you do.
Thank you.
She hasn't changed. Well, it's not so much a compliment, it's an observation. I just really wanted to say to you, because I've got a copy of your book here we're going to talk about, Remember Me. I want to say to you, the photograph on the front of you and your mum, I just absolutely love it.
It tells a story itself, doesn't it?
It's so beautiful. And it just, I don't know, it's your relationship. You had such a special relationship with it.
It was really interesting because, I was asked to sort of think about what was going to be on the front of my book. And there are very few photos of us two together because we're a big family of 6. And, this one just, I don't know, fell out one day. After Mum died, I was looking through photos and this one came up and I just looked at it and I thought, wow, that's us. That definitely is us.
So authentic.
Yeah. And I mean, look at that little face.
I know.
How did the book come about? From a podcast you were doing or something, wasn't
It was a blog. So
blog,
Alzheimer's Research UK asked me to write a blog about caring for my mum. And Mum was alive during this time. So I checked with my siblings because Mum wanted to keep her condition secret. She never admitted that she had dementia. She had she didn't want to admit her mental illness at all.
She was aware of it, though.
Now, this is it. We don't know this, do we? We never know whether you're aware or you're unaware. But, the word dementia was spoken to her, by the GP. And she felt that word for her was weaponized in a way, meant that she was demented and ill and mad. And there's lots of words around women specifically, and she'd had a lot of words in her life. After my father died, she was only 45. The words like hysteria were bandied around. She was very much a wordsmith herself. So that kind of word really upset her, and I can see why.
Were you very careful with your language around her?
Yes, absolutely. Didn't really talk about it. So that's why I wrote the blog. Yeah, the blog was about sort of raising awareness of how dementia affects all of us, and specifically within the South Asian community. And I wanted to see whether my story would resonate with others.
It's a different angle as well, isn't it? Yeah. And that dignity is so important.
And to bring up our journey of caring for my mum. So I wrote that, and then it was on Twitter, and a young man spotted it. His name is Hamza Jahanzeb, and he worked for Octopus Books at the time. He doesn't work there now, but he was at Octopus, and they have at Octopus Books a little sort of thing where everybody can bring an author to the table. So
no way.
And he brought me to the table.
What an organic way for it to happen.
And Romilly Morgan, then the super editor there, she went, okay. All right, let me meet her.
Wow. It's so interesting.
It's also the story of your relationship, though, isn't it? Your mum was such a mainstay in your life, wasn't she? I mean, when your son came along, as a single mum, which not everyone in your community was comfortable with, your mum was there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't. I have, in order to write this, I had to write about both of us because she was our linchpin. And really, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have had this life at all. I wouldn't have been able to come on Loose Women and talk with all of you, you know, in my career. I wouldn't have been able to be an actor.
It's interesting because you talk so fondly of her and so protectively, and it sounds like that's what she was for you. She was your ally if you faced backlash or gossiping, and it's the roles reversing later in life. It's such a beautiful thing that you can give back to your mum in that way.
Absolutely. I think it was all left unsaid, though. It wasn't expected. It wasn't expected of me to do that or of the family to do that, but
it wasn't needed. Do you think it wasn't? They didn't need you to say anything, or
I think it's just a way of showing love, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think your mum knew she
Demonstrative
was loved so much.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I met Shobna's mum was at the Soap Awards.
Yeah, she always came.
She always came, which is a huge sign of love for you to be bringing your mum along to the Soap Awards. And on this occasion, I remember Shobna's dress. It was a one-shoulder piece.
I think it was a one-shoulder
piece. And we laughed so much that you laughed out of your dress.
Yes. I mean,
there's the dress.
It's
wow.
And we had to run into the toilets and fix that dress. And I left your mum outside saying, I promise I'll bring her back looking decent, Auntie.
I know it's these uncontrollable bosoms which I've hidden today. They are controlled.
But she knew you loved her, is what I was saying. It's like she really must have felt the love. So that's why you probably didn't need to say it.
You know, I was watching a play the other day. I've been in London and I watched a play by Ambreen Raza at the Bush. And there was a conversation in the play between the generations. And the grandmother said in that, I didn't have to say I loved you because I was giving you the room to love. So I think this is a very similar thing.
Richer.
You know, our parents give us the tools and then we use them as, you know, because obviously if you talk about people and you give your impression and your judgment, and it might become conditional, and we don't want that, do we? We just want an open space. So it is a story of our unconditional love for each other.
Just you talking about the Soap Awards is making me thinking, a little tribute to your mum that must have meant a lot is when you were in Corrie, you named one of your daughters after your mum, didn't you?
Your on-screen daughter.
That's right. Mum had been watching Coronation Street from its inception.
Yeah, mine too.
And this was her whole thing. So I was asked when I had the children on Coronation Street, you know, what would you like to call them? And, you know, there was this whole story of Dev and Sunita and how Dev had already had 1 million children. And so just character-wise, I thought, I talked to my mum about it. I said, shall we make them begin with A, Mum?
Yeah.
And she said, you know, because firstborns usually have, within the South Asian community, a name beginning with A.
And she was Asha.
And she was Asha, which means hope.
Yeah.
And, you know, and look at Tanisha there on
you
screen.
Go.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Asha is still in it now. It's a beautiful thing to do.
And Riley, my mum would say, all right.
I'm really sorry we have to say goodbye, but it's been
fine.
so lovely to have you here. It really has. That is it for today. On Monday, we are joined by former Strictly Come Dancing professionals Ola and James Jordan. Have a lovely weekend.